Hi, I'm Robert Sanders, and I'm talking to Neil Tomlinson from Aquapax.
Hiya, Robert. How's you this morning?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks.
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So tell me about your mission and how you found it.
Oh, gosh, I think the mission found me, really, if the truth be told. I've always been one for causes. And in my younger years, I was very, very passionate about the burning down of the Amazon rainforests and chopping down all the trees to create farming. And absolutely determined to do something to change that. But some problems are a little bit bigger than one man. But regarding Aquapax, I don't think I've ever met anybody, Robert, who actually says, "Oh, I really like plastic." And all my life, I've thought, this is a weird substance, this plastic. I kind of have an affinity with glass. Definitely have an affinity with paper, but plastic is something that really I never had an affinity with. And I grew up down on the east coast of South Africa, a place called Durban. Grew up on the beach, and the beaches in those days, of course, didn't have any plastic on them. So within my lifetime, I've seen this scourge of plastic waste washing up on my beach and on every beach on the planet. Whenever there's a high tide, a spring equinox, a summer equinox, whenever there's a storm, all you see on the beach shoreline is plastic. And when my wife and I moved to Sussex, which was to take a role within the statutory water authority, South East Water. In those days, pre-children, we used to do an awful lot of walking on the downs. And I suppose my mission crystallized when I stopped seeing the beauty of the downs and was focused a little bit too much on the plastic in the hedgerows. And it kind of, my mission formulated then, somebody has to do something about it. And I think I'd reached a stage in my life where I was grown up enough to think it doesn't have to be somebody else.
That's incredible. So Aquapax, as an idea, sort of, what is it? How did it come about in your head? And tell us a little bit more about the product itself.
Well, working in a statutory water authority, I realized that there is definitely a place for bottled water, because there isn't always a pipeline delivering water to the point of use wherever a customer is. And definitely whenever there's a burst in a pipe, then bottled water is a pragmatic way of hydrating people. And then you come down to very real scenarios like wars, famine, drought, displaced people, or refugees as they used to be called, where there just aren't any taps available to hydrate people. So bottled water has a place, and the thought process was, you can't remove a market, but perhaps you can make it find a better solution to satisfy the market demand. And that was the marketer in me got thinking, and the rest is history. Aquapax was the world's first brand created as a carton of water, as opposed to a water brand packaged in a bottle, plastic or glass, which is what all the others were. And here's the original carton here. That's the very, very first carton we produced. And it had a metallized foil on the outside to reflect light, to therefore keep the water cooler and on the inside. The lid back in those days was plastic. Nothing in life is perfect. But ultimately, it was over 70% sustainable versus a plastic bottle, which is 100% oil-based petroleum. And then over the years, we've we've refined the product to the point where you notice the lid has changed, and we've embraced a lid now made of sugarcane polymer, and the carton itself has a higher sustainability factor. We're now up to around 82.5% renewable materials. And this product, by 2024, we believe will be wholly renewable. All of the fossil plastic, oil-based polymer plastic, will be removed from the carton.
Fantastic, yeah. And in terms of the sales of Aquapax too, I believe you try to put as much into the actual the side aspects of the sales, so sort of generating money for the environment and things like that. Is that right?
Yes, we allocate 1% of our entire sales turnover back to environmental restoration. So when I founded the business, the company is called Just Drinking Water, and the just is regarding the ethos of the business, was to be fair in everything we do. And there's an organization called 1% for the Planet, and there's their little logo over there.
Yeah.
And it's very simple because it's unambiguous. You give, there's so many organizations out there who say we support charity and we're a not-for-profit. Well, define a not-for-profit. If you pay your chief executive a few £100,000 a year, there's no profit left. So therefore you're not for profit. Whereas 1% for the planet, for me, was unambiguous, and that's what we do. And I'm very proud of that legacy that last year we planted over 5,000 trees, and we generated real employment for smallholder farmers in South America, which is where we are planting our trees.
So what are the challenges? Why is you'd sort of think that it would almost become the norm for water to be packaged in cartons, not necessarily your cartons, but that would become the norm, and it doesn't feel that that's been achieved. So what are the challenges?
Well, I think that comes down to one of those lessons that they teach you in school, which is very boring, but it's called economics. The reason why plastic is ubiquitous on the planet is because it is compellingly cheap. It costs very, very little. I almost used a profanity. It costs almost nothing to make a plastic bottle of water, and the material is such that you can create, you blow, heat mold the bottles and blow mold them at a rate of around 40,000 units per hour, which is big business. And big business is attracted to things which they can do in high volume and inexpensively, particularly with something like water, which can then be marketed and sold. So I think it was Friends of the Earth, I borrow their quote quite frequently, that bottled water and an environmental catastrophe. And the reason why the world hasn't embraced Aquapax or the Tetra Pak carton as a solution, even though ecologically it's undeniably a superior solution, the reason is because it's a much slower production process. But I think the most we've ever achieved is 7,000 cartons per hour filling, which, stack that up against 40,000, it just doesn't stack. Speaking of stacking, plastic packaged the bottles of water on a pallet. The pallets can stack on top of one another. They can't do that with a cardboard box.
Right.
So the logistics of the plastic bottled water business are compelling, and because it has no value, that's why there is a problem of plastic pollution in the world, because there is no incentive to clear it up, to recover it, to reuse it.
Yeah. So what lessons have you learned from your experience, do you think?
I think lessons as an entrepreneur, when you're starting out in the business, don't fly solo, which is what I chose. Well, I don't know so much that I chose to do it, because I did approach a number of my friends and peers at that time to say, look, this is what I'm going to do, and this is the reason why I think it's a cracking idea, and we can make a real difference in the world. But I think most people are focused on their mortgages and their summer holidays, and they didn't want to devote their life to a cause. So the lessons I've learned, the biggest lesson would be it's very, very lonely doing things on your own. And I'm no longer on my own, of course. I think you know that, Robert. We've now got a sustainable, profitable business with a team of people, and my team are fabulous. They're all committed to the brand and to the values of the brand and the mission of the brand. And it feels so much better working in a team than it did back in the days of just working solo in the corner bedroom of my home with my wife.
Fantastic, good. And for anybody starting out in business, then what would advice if somebody's starting out in a business like yours?
Find a business partner with a trust fund. Yeah, we started with money that I'd saved. So when you save money, you've already paid tax on it. That's not a great way to start a business. But life is one of those things that you can't go back and undo what you've done. You can modify and tweak your course and put a hand on the tiller and change direction, but you can't go back and redo something on the same day that you've already done it. I think that's another one of those lessons is, strategies are fine, but I think plans are better, because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And when tomorrow comes, take it as it comes and plan for how you're going to deal with it. Yeah. As opposed to having this grandiose strategy written down in the Bible of this is the way we're going to do things. And then along comes something like COVID and knocks it out of the park.
Mm. Yeah. And just, when you look at where you are now and thinking back to those times when you're walking on the beach and you've seen the plastic on the beach, and how do you feel about your life and your progress as you look back over that now?
I'm finally able to look back and reflect on the fact that we've made a change. I've got competitors all over the world now packaging bottles of cartons of water in paper packages. No one will ever be able to take away from the fact that we are the original. You can see the little logo there. And when I started the business, I sat down and wrote out what the future looks like. And one of the lines I recall writing was, "Our grandchildren will be proud of us." And that was a compelling thing for me, that it might not happen within my lifetime, but it will happen. And it's happening much faster. God bless David Attenborough. Blue Planet has been the best sales video I could have ever imagined, because people have finally woken up to the scourge of plastic. And there are all sorts of other solutions. There's metal cans of water, which the water tastes like a metal can, and you look like you're carrying a bottle of lager around when you're drinking it. But and also it's got an incredibly high carbon footprint, but it's cheap. So therefore they sell on it not being plastic. And because it's cheap, there is a market that'll go for that solution as well. But I think the thing that I will look back on is that we actually did this. My wife and I started this business solo. We actually did it. It's actually working. And in that way, we've made a change. We've made a difference.
Thank you. Neil Tomlinson, thank you very much.
Cheers, Robert. Thank you very much for your time. Nice talking with you.
Bye-bye.